Welcome to the Daily Energize Podcast, where you'll get a jolt of energy and a quick tip to help you conquer your day. Now here's your host, the Prince of Positivity himself, Spencer Jones.
Question. Of the time that you spend with people, maybe with your spouse, your kids, your friends, how much of that time is meaningful time? That's right, meaningful time. Time that you are present with them and not distracted by other things. Now, this can change, and the amount of the meaningful time can change based on who you're with, what you're doing. But how much of it is meaningful time? Now, I'm not here to judge you, and I don't want you to judge yourself or beat yourself up over, oh my gosh, I don't spend any meaningful time, or it's such a low number, or it's lower than you want it to be. Okay, this is more just a little exercise for you just to take a look, maybe look back on yesterday. Of those connections you've had, of that time you had with people that you wanted to have meaningful time with, because there's some people, frankly, we don't want to spend meaningful time with, I get that. But of the people you wanted to, how much of it was actually meaningful time? Perhaps you could actually put a number to it. Like, all right, I spent 29 minutes with them and 19 of those 29 minutes was meaningful time. If you could do that, that's awesome. I can't do that. That's not a freaking chance. It would be like a rough percentage at best. I'd be like, maybe 50%, maybe 20% or whatever. I would be guesstimating it. But I would try to make it all of it or most of it meaningful. Now, saying that, I'm not sure all of it can be quote unquote meaningful time where you're totally present. I think that would be amazing, and maybe that's the quote unquote the goal that we go for. But I think maybe that's too much. Maybe it's exhausting to do that. I'm not sure. For me, I don't hit that. I try to have meaningful time most of the time. But sometimes I struggle to even do that if I'm just going to be really open and honest. So, let's be clear what I mean by meaningful time. When I say meaningful time, I mean that it's time when you're present. You are here in the moment with them. You're being intentional about spending that time with them, hearing them, listening, seeing them, enjoying time together. Think about it. We'll think about it in different ways, right? So maybe you're having a conversation with your spouse, and you're sitting at the table or the counter. Are you listening to them? Are you present? Are you trying to think of how you could respond, as opposed to trying to listen to understand and then figuring out your response after that? Are you trying to prove yourself? Are you thinking about, what should I make for dinner, as they're telling you about their day, about this thing that's happening? Are you not actually present with them at that moment? And it's easy to do. All of a sudden, for me, I'm focused, I'm present, boom, I'm somewhere else. And I'm like, Spencer, get back. Okay, boom, I'm back. And then I'm listening, boom, somewhere else. And then I'm back, right? It happens. So if that's you, if you're like me, that's okay. I think there's many more people like that. I feel like there are many other people like us out there. And that's okay, as long as we remember to come back. That's why I think it would be a struggle for it to be 100% of the time, if we were really true and honest to ourselves. But I think the goal is to be present with them. Now, there are other times, let's say you're playing a video game with your kids, because you are intentionally spending time with them. Now, it's meaningful time. You're there. You're chatting with your kids. You're playing a game. Sometimes you're distracted by the game because you're playing a game, right? And that's okay. But the overall time, the vast majority of the time, it's meaningful time. You're there intentionally spending it with. You're not on your phone. You're not trying to get work done. You're not thinking about what you need to make for dinner. You're just playing a game with them. And maybe you're hanging out with your friends, right? I think about the men's mental health group that I join up that meets once a month. I get there as often as I can. And last time we went out bowling. And so, okay, we're bowling. And for men especially, we like shoulder-to-shoulder interactions as opposed to face-to-face. So we could share our feelings, but it's usually shoulder to shoulder, which means we're doing something. So there's already an element of it being distracted, but it could still be meaningful because we could be intentionally doing that action. We could be intentionally having conversations, asking the questions to each other and listening while we're doing something. So maybe I need to change, as I'm sharing all this, maybe I need to change my definition of meaningful. Maybe it's not necessarily 100% present in the moment, although I think that's a big part of it. I still feel like it is. Maybe it's intentionally connecting, intentionally having that time with that other person. Maybe that's it. But how do you define it? Who cares how I define it? Maybe I'll help give you some ideas and parameters or different thoughts of it, but how do you define spending meaningful time? I invite you to think about that today. How do you define spending meaningful time? And then I invite you not only to think about how you define it, but to intentionally have meaningful time with 2 people this weekend. So over the next 2 days, it could be 1 person a day, 2 people in 1 day, I don't care. But this weekend, intentionally spend meaningful time with 2 people. Now that intentional time, it could be a minute long. It could be 3 hours. The choice is yours. But spend meaningful time. And I'm curious, I would love to know how you define meaningful time. Seriously, I would love to know. Please hop in the Energy Hub, our free group on Facebook. Please hop in there and share with us, how do you define meaningful time? Because I want to learn and grow with this. I want to spend some more time sitting with this and see how I define it. And I would love to hear your definition, because I think that could help me define mine. So please share it with us in the Energy Hub. All right, that's all I have for today. Thank you for hopping in, joining me. Have a beautiful weekend. Go spend that meaningful time, and make sure you take some time for you, because you matter too. All right, so keep shining bright, and until next time, I will catch you later.